Hello and welcome back to Podcasting's Praxes. I'm David, my pronouns are he and him.
I'm James, my pronouns are they and them.
Jamie, he, him.
Rob, he, him.
Alistair, he, him, / gotta go fast.
Yeah, speed run, let's go.
Alright, welcome to the Green Hill zone of podcasting.
Yeah, we are
Just
I don't know.
Clip right through these introductions and get on to the second stage.
Yeah, 3 hours into the recording of a 2-hour episode, so good for us. It's the award show, it's part 2. We're just going to pick up where we fucking left off. If you listen to this, you should have listened to the first part, and you are owed nothing from us. So, next award up is the Jerombly Crombly Award for Most Piss Boiled.
First contester for the most piss boiled this year is an old fan favourite, Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
Specifically,
the vile anti-Semite.
Yes. Specifically, while on stage for a climate rally in Amsterdam, said, there is no climate justice without international solidarity, which is, undoubtedly a correct statement in literally every way possible. Then, of course, some Dutch melt cunt grabbed her mic to say, "I've come for a climate demonstration, not a political view," which is that's the most
fucking leathered him.
It's the most liberal statement I've ever heard. It's just I've come here to let Boris know my dog can't go skiing this year.
I expect you to keep politics out of it.
Yeah. Honestly, if anyone's ever in that situation and someone does that to you, hit them with your fucking chair.
Yeah, from the ropes if you have them available. Afterwards, he was swiftly sort of removed from the stage, and then rejoined the crowd in chanting, saying "No climate justice on occupied land," which again is incontrovertibly a true statement. And that, of course, proceeded to set entire oceans and lakes of piss into thermonuclear fire because. She followed it swiftly up with a Twitter post saying solidarity with Palestine and Gaza, and that, of course, really fucking cooked everybody, including the official Twitter account of the State of Israel, which posted in response.
Oh, those fucking guys.
Yeah, some real fucking poster energy they have, which posted up to say in the replies, Hamas doesn't use sustainable materials for their rockets.
Oh, what a fucking thigh slapper.
Yeah, fucking cunt. They didn't just stop there, by the way. Later on, a spokesman for the Israeli army told Politico, whoever identifies with Greta Thunberg in any way in the future is, in my view, a terror supporter. So, just very fucking normal things.
Bad news for autistic people everywhere, I guess.
Yeah, and people, who generally don't want the fucking climate to incinerate, regardless of their views on Israel-Palestine.
Yeah.
It was, of course, then also followed up by the German branch of Fight for Future, which is basically, it's not her organization, but certainly one of the ones that she's one of the greatest leaders in. And because the Germans have all gone collectively completely fucking insane, came out the next day and said that Greta Thunberg doesn't represent their views. And I would then thoroughly like to hear what exactly Germany's Fight for Future's views are on this particular topic, because they must surely have been very well developed.
Their views are that they came here for a climate demonstration, not political views.
That, of course, did not stop, many of the other branches of the Fridays for Future campaigns being called radical, and then people lamented that they had become political. Again,
Gasp.
Liberals are just the dumbest motherfuckers in the world. Just, easily gullible little children, or, I don't want politics involved in my climate. What the fuck do you think it is, you absolute fucking loser? And then, caught the usual flack from all the usual suspects by saying that the outcome of the latest climate negotiations in the United Arab Emirates, led by the CEO of the state oil company, were bullshit
Those
and
fucking
fake.
guys.
Yeah. and surprisingly, they were those were fake and bullshit. And she said as much, which is good.
So that's not what you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to fucking like look behind the curtain and tell everyone what's there. Come on, that's not how the game's played.
Yeah, so that's my my nominee for the Drumbly Crumbly Award for most piss boiled. I think a good entrant for sure.
Yeah. Right. My entry is Hamas, which like I'm just gonna.
You can't say they haven't been boiling piss.
So didn't we just do Hamas?
That's what I'm about to say, right? Everything is Hamas now. That's like this is going to be a short one because it's literally I just point at literally everything and go Hamas. Do you know what I mean? The UN is Hamas. The
Hamas,
EU
I know.
is Hamas.
Jesus Christ.
Even Israeli hostages are Hamas now. It's
yeah.
just insane. When will it end?
Well,
Doctors
not
Without
at Gen
Borders,
Z anyway.
very Hamas.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
you mean Gen H, David.
Yeah, Generation Hamas. Like, just fucking honestly, everyone just needs to just calm the fuck down. Like, go outside and touch grass before the grass is also Hamas.
Well, I mean, it rhymes.
Grass is green, and that's the color of
Yeah,
Hamas.
that's
and,
one of the forbidden colors. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually another good thing is the Washington Post is also Hamas for lighting up the roof of their building in green and red. If anyone saw that particular fucking stellar take on Twitter. And then when people pointed out, like, what time of year it was, and, like, asked the guy to, like, fucking cut his own throat with Occam's razor and leave the rest of us alone. He did a poll. Which do you think, like, the Washington Post is more likely to be celebrating, Hamas or Christmas? And it's like, well, I don't give a fuck, mate.
Oh.
Santa Claus Hamas? Important questions must be asked. Five-page article in the Jewish Chronicle.
Yeah, just good times were had by all. That's my entry.
Yeah, that's strong. All right, James, you're up next.
Well, just stop oil. Just stop oil. Just stop oil. Stop oil.
Hamas.
Just do it.
They're also Hamas, I think.
So, just...
The Hamas for stopping the fucking snooker.
Well, we'll get to that. So, like,
There were
oil.
red, green, black, and white balls on that table, don't you know?
So I've said before, I think Just Stop Oil are fucking losers. Like, I strongly suspect for an op. But the thing about being an op is they just basically exist to boil piss and make people mad at them. And they have boiled some piss this year. Like, so they've done numerous die-ins on roads across the UK, which in our ULEZ motorist economy is, that's verboten. It's a cardinal sin. So that's been like a staple in newspapers basically every week. They also crashed a football game, Everton v Newcastle in Goodison Park. Some guy jumped on the pitch, ran up to one of the goalposts, and metal zip-tied his neck to the goalpost, which
Fucking
I've got to
king.
say is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's like-
Shield?
That was
was
one of the few times this year my like extended family were like very fucking opinionated on current events.
They also showed up, and like Jamie said, orange chalk all over a snooker table, just like completely ruined it, ended the game there and then. But I mean, all of these pale in comparison to something truly terrible they've done, which is that they interrupted a £175 ticket performance of Les Miserables. It was terrible. As is reported in Spiked Online by Simon Evans. Just Stop Oil's most miserable stunt yet. Eco-extremist troop Just Stop Oil has once again disrupted the smooth running of civilized society to remind us of a coming climate catastrophe. This time, these silly middle-class twats chose Wednesday evening's performance of Les Miserables for their latest piece of performance politics. And once again, they did so in order to demand that we all stop enjoying ourselves, just as they have done at art galleries, for tennis, and indeed some traffic lights on the North Circular. And he goes on, and he gets an entire article out of them having the hubris to interrupt a nice night out. But I mean, if we go further back, they've also, I mean, they fucking Heinz tomato soup to Van Gogh. I mean, it was behind glass, but you know they did it anyway. They also fucked up Lords, the cricket. They, orange chalk there. One of the cricketers had to like carry the protester off the field, which was pretty great. And just in the past few days, they decided to do Christmas carols outside Keir Starmer's home, which got them all basically
the vile
aspoed.
criminals! How dare they?
That is actually very good. I am in favour of that shit. More people should Christmas carol to Keir Starmer, because I can't think of anything more fucking annoying.
But the worst of it, David, is they have released a calendar featuring, for 2024, featuring their favourite stunts at £25 a pop, which has pissed off the Daily Mail. And the Daily Mail have gone in on them because, it's bad enough they're doing this thing, but now they're monetizing it. So they boiled some piss. Like,
they have. I mean,
the rot.
They also did that. They also shut down that fucking bridge that like hampered like an oil terminal or something, didn't it?
Yeah.
They do two sorts of protests, really. They do the stuff that's like direct action in the sense of like interfering with like oil terminals and stuff, which may or may not generate them headlines, but they also do the headline grabbing stuff like the Super Van Gogh, the chalk on the snooker table and all that. So yeah. They
are just fucking absolutely like the most hardworking piss boilers we have in this country today.
That's true, yeah.
Boiling every fucker's piss. It's so good. It's like, they're fucking up the Top Gear crowd. They're annoying your dad by interrupting the snooker. They're like, the silly middle class twats are annoying other silly middle class twats by interrupting the theatre. It's just fucking great. And like, people go like, oh, well, why are they throwing soup at a paint and why aren't they out there like blockading an oil terminal? So then they go out and blockade an oil terminal. Everyone's like, not like that. You know what I mean? It's...
Yep.
Wasn't there something they did in like a really expensive shop as well where they like threw piss all over the crockery or something? I can't remember.
I mean, they've also sprayed down several government buildings using like bright orange paint as well.
Yeah, like oil headquarters
so it's like,
as well. Yeah.
Like, I don't think they're doing anything for their cause whatsoever, but as like a stunt group that pisses off a lot of people, they're very good at it. Like, give them credit where credit's due. As like, if it was guerrilla marketing, it would be incredibly successful. Unfortunately, it's not really helping. So there you go. Piss boilers extraordinaire. Just stop oil.
I mean, I feel a bit bad for them because, quite obviously their entire leadership is either cops or riddled with cops. But, like, the individual guys, like, running on pitches and boiling
you're
piss...
you're thinking of Extinction Rebellion.
I'm thinking of
just
both.
Stop oils. Just stop oils, the billionaires.
But they are kings, and I do appreciate, like, at least, like, sort of the foot soldiers, like, good shit.
So, the next contender in this category is the man himself, Jerombly Crombly, Jeremy Corbyn. I mean, I feel like
Hamas for sure.
Yeah,
I feel like Hamas right now. I'm just gonna vibe, feel a bit Hamas.
I feel like Hamas tonight,
So, Just Stop Oil, I probably feel like, at least in the UK, generate the most piss on like on an absolute basis, but like individually and like in terms of like piss to effort ratio, I think it's a clear win. It's a clear win for Jeremy Corbyn because, like, I mean, anything that he says. Literally anything that he says is always taken with just the absolutely worst faith humanly possible.
He's like the anti-Lib Dem. Do you know what I mean? You say something and everyone fucking hears it. Like,
well, the incredible thing with
all
Jerome,
people talk about.
The incredible thing with him is, like, he doesn't even need to say anything. Like, they'll just publish pieces saying, "What if Jerombly Crumlin said something about this event? It would be bad." It's just like, and he just goes, "But I didn't say. Just what?"
Yeah, I mean, obviously it doesn't matter what he actually says, but like, pretty much every significant global event that has occurred in recent memory, Jeremy Corbyn has said, we should do this thing, which is, either generally or obviously correct.
Yeah.
So, for example, with Ukraine, it was the saying that there should be a negotiated settlement, which is how pretty much every conflict ends, short of one side completely exterminating the other. And there was an article in the Byline Times where it was saying Jeremy Corbyn has sparked frustration, anger, and disappointment among Ukrainians after he claimed in an interview that they should seek a peace deal with Russia rather than fight on with weapons supplied by the West. Oh, with weapons supplied by the West. I wonder if that could have any long-term problems with its methodology. Best not look at one of the previous fucking.
I was going to say, is that the sad trombone I hear in the background? Yeah,
indeed. We also had COVID and sort of alongside that furlough, where we have hipster analysis of Aisha Hazarika fame, where saying that maybe we should be able to see the evidence that the government's using is met with just derision and ridicule by the worst fucking people in this country because their piss is so easily boiled by the man.
Even when he's not trying, I think in terms of effort put in versus piss boiled at this point.
Exactly. Just going, hang on a minute, maybe we should think about this, or maybe we should look at the evidence. And again, it's the same. It was the same with the poisoning in fucking, what was it called? The name's fucking escaped me right now.
Oh, the Skripal thing.
Yes, in the place with the lovely cathedral.
Durham.
Pizza Express.
Yeah, why not?
Northallerton.
Yeah, pizza. Yeah, the cathedral and Pizza Express. And obviously, this was quite a while ago. But does anyone else remember Bowgate at the fucking Memorial Sunday?
Yeah. Back to the cenotaph, yeah.
Back to the cenotaph.
He wasn't wearing the right kind of jacket either. Do you remember that shit?
Yeah.
And just every
that was reheated fucking donkey jacket discos for fuck's sake.
Yeah, 100%. I mean,
I remember the pictures with the fucking measurement of the angle that he was bowing out on in the papers.
Well, he also was that the same.
Deeply unserious fucking country that we live in.
Acutely disrespectful.
Was that the same thing at the? Was that the same thing at the cenotaph where he wore a tie, and then one of the papers wrote that him wearing the tie meant that he craved power?
Yeah, that was. And he did a little dance. He did a little dance at the cenotaph. I remember that as well.
Who remembers? Yeah, I mean, when you start trying to remember these things, it gives you a brain injury.
It does, yeah.
But just in general, his existence as an MP and the threat that someone who believes in something that resembles real justice might see Britons_crimes.xls has naturally had the entirety of the Labour right and the press, from the BBC to the Guardian to the Express, working hand in glove to eradicate him as a Labour leader, then as Labour MP, and now merely as an MP. Just because he exists and scared the fuck out of them and had their piss so thoroughly boiled, he must now be... He is essentially, by the way, a ghost story that they tell on GB News.
Yeah.
My partner's grandparents have this confirmed belief, as far as they're concerned, that Keir Starmer is being puppeted by Jeremy Corbyn, and they read the Daily Mail and GB News and watch GB News. So, it's... And, well, I mean, this is also partly due to Starmer being a lying liar, because when people ask him, why did you tell people to vote for Jeremy Corbyn in 2017 and 2019 if he's so bad? The idiot conclusion here is because I'm being puppeted by him and not because I'm a liar. So, yeah, I would say that Jeremy Corbyn, at least on an effort to piss ratio, clear winner.
Is there an inverse thing going on where Just Stop Oil was the maximalist position where through maximum effort you boil maximum piss, and Jeremy Crumlins does the same by just not doing a fucking thing?
Let me put it this way. Imagine if we replaced everyone in Just Stop Oil with Jeremy Corbyn's. Little thought experiment for you.
All right, okay. That's the candidates. So, what do we think?
I mean, Hamas is hard to fucking beat this year. Because Greta Thunberg is in Hamas, so like I'm willing to fold her in.
Yeah,
Hamas.
all the other options are also Hamas. So
Yeah, that's
kind
You
of
know
like
what?
the
It's like impossible to argue otherwise. Yeah, it's Hamas because they're all Hamas.
Yes.
Can I make an argument against Hamas? A concerted argument against Hamas?
Risky
Oh,
in this
Luke
climate,
Akehurst, when
okay.
did you arrive?
So my the reason I say not Hamas.
You can make an
The
argument
reason
against Hamas, but it'll be hypocritical because you are also Hamas.
Hamas, right. Here's my thing. My argument against them is that Hamas being behind everything is more a rhetorical position that's not really believed by everyone. It's not like they are boiling the piss. It's like there's a constructive narrative to try and make them the piss boilers. Whereas all the other groups, particularly like Just Stop Oil and Jeremy Corbyn, to one extent or another, they are actually boiling piss directly. It's not like they're implied to be boiling
So it's a
piss.
distinction between direct and indirect piss boiling.
I think so, yeah.
Stolen piss boiling valor.
Yes. That's what it comes down to.
See, you make a good case, and I could be persuaded, but I'm still going to say Hamas.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That sounds like the argument of someone who is in Hamas, so I'm going to have to vote for Hamas. You've driven me to this, James. I'm going to have to vote for Hamas now.
Why do the left always do this?
I warned you, bro. I warned you.
Okay, well, that's pretty clear, isn't it? So, yeah, okay. Congratulations, Hamas.
Wonder how hard it'd be to get them a little trophy.
I mean, with the sanctions, a risky business.
Okay,
we just
award.
eat it. It's fine.
The next award is the Hasbara Barbera Award for Most Animated Defense of Israel.
You
Okay.
ever
We like to
have
have
something
fun
that just
here.
comes into... You ever just have like a thought that just it consumes your mind for like a whole day? Yeah, this is the title of this award. Is what this is to me.
Yeah. Okay, first up is, of course, Keir Starmer, because who else would get first dibs at this? So,
I object
not-
to Keir Starmer's inclusion on the grounds that he's not really animation, he's just a tracing. Derivative work.
denied. All art's derivative. There you go. All right. So this all started off with like a whole saga of fuck up from Starmer. So he did that thing where he chose as like an independent person to go on a radio show with fucking Nick Ferrari, expecting it to go well, despite all the other times where that didn't go well. And was asked about was asked, like, you know, is it right for Israel to be doing this?
A siege is appropriate, cutting off power, cutting off water. Sakir?
Well, I think that Israel does have that right.
So, you know, pretty clear, pretty concise as to what he thinks and says. He then went on to say that he didn't say that, despite the fact that we know he did say that. Yep, well established. And to make sure he said that he didn't say that, even though he did say that, he went to the South Wales Islamic Centre for a photo op.
Oh, yeah.
And he shook a bunch of hands, took some pictures, and then made some tweets with those pictures to say that
This was one of
He
the
actually-
single most cunty things the man has ever done.
Fucking
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really was.
he actually didn't say that, and what he did say was that we need a two-state solution, and everyone should get round the table, and it's really, really bad what's happening, but let's not blame anyone in particular. Which was obviously some fucking extreme shit. The mosque had to actually tweet out an explanation of what happened because they'd been duped into a photo op, thinking...
The main guy at the mosque didn't even speak English.
Yeah, the imam didn't speak English,
Yeah.
So, that's cool. But they took the photo op, etc., because they accepted the idea of the visit because they wanted to highlight the plight of Palestinians in Gaza at the time, and thought, well, it'll be quite handy if we can get a politician to come and do that. And then he did that shit. So, yeah, not fucking good. And then not too long after that, the SNP made an amendment to one of the fucking King's Speech motions in Parliament that unequivocally called for a ceasefire. And this was around about the same time that humanitarian pause was the watchword of the West Liberal. And Starmer put a 3-line whip on the party to say that, no, actually, you can't vote for that. It's not allowed. We're not calling for a ceasefire. And by putting on a 3-line whip, rather than just fucking letting whatever happen and letting people vote with their conscience, all he managed to do was launch the next annoying phase of Jess Phillips.
Yes.
That's
Which is what we were fucking missing out on, really. That's what we needed, another annoying phase of Jess Phillips. And now we are at the point where Rishi Sunak is now saying, actually, a ceasefire would be good. And now Starmer thinks that a ceasefire would be good after Rishi Sunak's decided that that's the case. It's like COVID all over again.
I mean, fairness, it's also just the fact that, now oil is being interrupted. So, of course, they're all wheeling around against it now. Of course.
Yeah. So, great, cool stuff. Just Starmer doing Starmer shit. What's new? I don't really know what else I can say about this. Like, it's just
the
after
latest
rake.
fence jump of just like being like, oh, now I'm front of. It's just literally like he's such a fucking lapdog, because it's like now that the Americans, the French, and they might even be the Germans at this point who have called for a ceasefire. It's like,
fuck's sake.
Now that he's got cover, the little bitch made nothing is like, oh, now I can do it. Now I can be a brave little boy, and it's just like. Again, not from a position of principle, but just to like literally all he's doing is like specifically showing the Americans, if you let me in, if the CIA lets me in, then I will be, like everybody before me, your bitch. Just coward, scum, coward.
Yeah. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Who's next?
I believe that's me with Breitbart's incredible article. Israel prepares for possible fentanyl attacks from Hamas and Hezbollah.
What sheriff wrote this article?
I know. Israel is preparing for the possibility that the Hamas terror organization in Gaza and the Hezbollah terror group in Lebanon may attack using various liquid fentanyl variants designed to incapacitate and kill large numbers of people. Fentanyl is well known for its dangers.
The fucking the glowing anal beads from The Rock and just fainting because they're full of fentanyl.
Fentanyl is well known for its dangers as a narcotic in the United States. It has also been used as a chemical weapon before, according to a 2019 paper published by the Center for the Study of Weapons of Mass Destruction at the National Defense University.
Whale. Name the place.
The only time fentanyl's ever been weaponized is by cops who are too fucking,
actually,
stupid to understand what's going on.
They're talking about the theater thing in Moscow, where where the Russian,
is that where they drop fucking nerve gas on them?
Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay. What?
Yeah, they're claiming that was fentanyl, which I don't think I've heard before.
I don't think
that's
fentanyl.
a new take.
That was some kind of weird, Russian nerve agent that, this is the best as far as I know.
Is it possible that the weird Russian nerve agent had all the same symptoms as the ones that cops report, and that's why they've said it's fentanyl.
Is it the first ever reported incident of that fucking seizure gun that has been developed by Cuba, potentially? Was it first deployed there?
Oh, Havana syndrome.
Yeah.
Yeah, this report from the National Defense University, which definitely sounds like a real thing. Russian security forces pumped an aerosolized combination of 2 fentanyl analogues into the theatre to incapacitate the inhabitants and permit the building to be stormed. The terrorists and approximately 130 of the hostages were killed. Most hostages died from exposure to a lethal dose of the fentanyl compounds. And then, like, that's directly quoting from this report, and then the article states underneath, however, it is unclear how exactly fentanyl would be dispersed to avoid vaporization. It's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Source, I made it the fuck up.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'll
Source
have you know
fentanyl.
that I have tenure at the National Defense University.
Yeah, there's an update. This article has been corrected to note that delivery of fentanyl as a chemical weapon would be highly unlikely via rocket, although it could be delivered through other means, like what, in the post.
It could be.
Delivery after Christmas at this point.
Yeah.
Fucking carrier pigeons like fucking wilding out in the sky trying to deliver you.
You get your fentanyl rockets in the new year, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Just you wait. 6 months from now, fentanyl rockets will be how CNN alleges drug dealers are going to be supplying their customers.
Amazon drone taken down by fentanyl rocket.
If only they'd had some of those at Heathrow that day. But yeah, that's that particular fucking flight of fancy.
It's a fucking incredible
Yeah,
tale.
alright, okay. Oof.
Well, when it comes to animated defense of Israel, I'm playing a lot of outsiders this time, and like ones which I think qualify under technicality. Because Bernie Sanders gave a defense of Israel. And you might say, well, how animate was it? He was going on when this whole thing kicked off with Israel has a right to defend itself. And he wouldn't call for a ceasefire at first. In fact, he wouldn't call for any kind of stoppage at first. It took him about a month or so to gradually decide that they needed a humanitarian pause, which, as we all know, is very distinct from a ceasefire.
Yeah.
Now, this is despite the fact that his own fucking party members in the House were begging him, as the senator most likely, to maybe, you know, have a fucking soul, to please be the one person who'd break the ice and say, hey, we need a ceasefire. But he wouldn't fucking do it. He's just recently started saying we should have a ceasefire, but only because it's reached that tipping point, and he's now got cover. Basically, there's times when, you know, someone is incredibly animate when they're incredibly still. And I think in Bernie Sanders' case, this really applies, because a few years ago, back when he was up against Hillary Clinton, this man was very much like, you know, what Israel does to Palestine is absolutely terrible. But when it comes time to actually put shit on the line, to actually stand up and maybe risk a little bit of, like, you know, opprobrium from the press, guy wouldn't do it. Couldn't be moved to do it.
This is part and parcel of the reason why Bernie Sanders has always been inferior to Jeremy Corbyn.
Yeah.
He's the American Jeremy Corbyn, and that's always going to be a detriment.
He is an advanced form of liberalism, essentially. The kind of liberalism which can persuade you that, oh, actually, no, you know, I'm for real, I'm for progress, I'm for change. Except when it inconveniences me personally, which is what this basically boils down to. Like,
oh damn! Did we just find the difference between a social democrat and a democratic socialist?
Well, he claims that he's a democratic socialist, but fucking no, he's not. No, he's not. Not after this. I'm sorry. You can't look at an actively unfolding genocide and be in a position to make a call that would be listened to, that would actually get a little bit of traction, and refuse to do so and still call yourself any flavour of socialist, anarchist, or communist generally. You just can't. Like, Bernie Sanders is not on the left. I'm sorry.
Suck
because the only, like, no matter how you phrase this, right, either he had the genuine conviction that Israel has the right to defend itself and, you know, I think what they're doing is proportionate, in which case, fuck him, bluntly. Like, just absolutely fuck him, no way, it's genocide. Or he took the calculated position that, well, I don't like this, but now's not the time to do it, in which case he chose political expedience over doing the right moral thing. So fuck him. Just, I don't know any other way to card this up. So, yeah, that's basically it. It's Bernie Sanders. He wasn't the most vocal, out there, fenital rocket kind of bullshit, but it was just a marked reversal of everything he stood for, and sometimes that's enough. It's a trolley problem, He's refusing to pull the switch when conspicuously you've talked long and hard about how you're going to pull the switch. Sometimes a lack of action speaks louder than words, and that's Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, from the people who disappoint you to the people who never fucking fail to disappoint you, it's the welcome return of Jimmy Bollocks, of course, the one-man take machine defender of payday loans, whatever his latest bullshit is. It's a whole fucking thing, but mainly I've just put him on here for one series of tweets that he did, because, I'm childish and petty like that, and I don't care. He can go fuck himself. So basically it's, as usual, he's like, both sides are bad, blah, 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 blah. But, of course, the real tragedy then came that he went to his local. He went to a pub. He doesn't say whether it's got a flat roof or not.
What did the bloke say?
Yeah, the bartender told him that, that he could go fucking suck it. Let me read from Jimmy Bollocks' emotional experience in a pub, sitting on his fat ass, spending that MI6 money. From someone on shift to a customer in a North London bar. I know the replies I'll get to this, but I don't feel comfortable at all with this. I think it's a horrible, horrible tragedy, but I also think the people who see in it sides are going to help compound it. There are two sides. There's the side with all the tanks and all the advanced artillery and all the airstrikes, and then there's the children buried underneath the rubble in Gaza. Just to fucking put a fine point on it. And then of course we get to the masterful paragraph where, of course, it's not about the war. It's not actually about taking sides. It's not about having some fucking ethical responsibility as what is nominally a journalist, but, in fact, just a craven buffoon licking at the nearest fucking lampshade as long as someone in power has pissed on it recently. Much less importantly, but I am occasionally taken to be Jewish, and I wonder why that was why I was pressed on this.
Oh, fucking hell. Foreverly Wheatmanized and loving it.
You fucking prick. I know we've mentioned it on the previous episode we did about this, but just fucking convert. If you're gonna do this, if you're gonna be maybe I'm taken to be Jewish, maybe you could elucidate what that is. What characteristics do Jewish people have, Jimmy Bollock? Maybe you want to get your fucking calipers out, Maybe you just want to... sorry, let me read the rest. I would like to be able to go to my local, and more importantly, would like Jewish friends and neighbours to feel able to do so without interrogation. Well, for one, I think, you drawing the comparison between yourself and your Jewish friends and neighbours who are in your narrative, I assume, must all feel the same, that, to take sides must be bad, is an incredibly tone-deaf piece of horrible bullshit. And quite frankly, I don't think that your friends would have the same problem because, they're not Jimmy fucking Bollock, the bullshit man journalist extraordinaire. You can go fuck yourself, and that's why you're on this water. God, and next year you'll be back with some other piece of piss, because you are exactly the kind of craven idiot dolt the UK media class so loves and deserves. So that's my entry.
Yeah.
What even could we add?
I hate this guy so much. It's fucking...
I know.
He's an absolute fucking helmet, my second entry for this category is Germans on Blue Sky. But tragically, Tragically, like examples will have to be like just cut short because I added a mute list called Treaty of Versailles, and now I don't see the pricks anymore in my life.
Excellent name for a block list. Fantastic. 10 out of 10.
But yeah, they if you can still see them on Blue Sky, they fucking suck. But you don't need me to tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, Germans
But yeah,
collectively have just lost their fucking minds.
They've gone fucking insane. Like they've finally finally realized they're gonna get the holy war. They've clearly been fucking like, you know what I mean, biting on a stick to avoid cheering for all these years, and they've just gone absolutely fucking apeshit. And fucked a lot of them, quite frankly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're only tolerable as, like, you know, the very, like, weird humor / like terrible pervert country. They're not allowed to have, like, an important fucking opinion on, like, global politics. No, fuck off. You know, you tried that a couple of times before and you fucked it both times. So, nah, that card's revoked now. Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's only one good Germany, and it's East Germany.
Yeah.
Well, currently .. if you see like where what their current voting is, but yeah.
Well, that's the fault of West Germany, so
Yeah, fair enough. This is true.
all right, okay then. So, who wins the award, the Hasbara Barbera Award?
I want to say Starmer, just purely because of like how much he visibly shat himself after accidentally like fucking walking into the most like easily avoidable like tunnel painted on a wall that you've ever seen.
Israel does have that right.
Yeah.
Oops.
You can hear the cogs turning there where you can't quite decide. Like, you know what I mean? He's just fallen back on repeat the previous answer because that's all he fucking knows. And it like, how could it betray him? How could this foolproof political fucking genius tack that he always fucking takes of just repeating himself? How could it have like gone so badly wrong? And then absolutely like shitting his pants.
You can fuck him here and go like, hey, do I still have the phone focus group helpline available to me? Like,
I'm just trying to think, who do I hate more, Keir Starmer or James Ball? It's a very tough call.
Oh, it's got to be Keir Starmer.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right, and you know, but I'm still gonna go with Jimmy Bullock just for sheer personal reasons of vendetta.
I mean, let's be absolutely clear. Like, fucking James Ball is a thundering fucking cunt, but like, he's not Keir Starmer.
No, that's true. That's true.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Starmer, really, hasn't it?
Yeah,
It has to be
okay.
Starmer just for that mosque visit. Like,
Yeah, it's got to be Starmer. It's got to be.
Is it the most animate defense of Israel?
Yeah,
Okay,
because he's
your
assumed
argument-
about
your
14
argument was
fucking
that-
shapes.
your argument was that like Bernie Sanders doing nothing was animated, so I don't think we trust your opinion on whether it is or not.
No, like what made that stand out for Sanders was because he was talking very vocally the opposite right up until that happened. I don't know.
Yeah, but then he
actually,
just
I think
went quiet.
I
Like,
think
he
it's
said the
Ball.
thing and then he went quiet.
But did he go
I
to a
don't know.
mosque under false pretenses and then like bamboozle a guy who doesn't speak English into a like shitty photo opportunity
And then lie about it.
and then lie about it? Yeah.
I don't know. I think I'm feeling Jimmy Ball. I think Jimmy Bullock has got it for me.
Okay. Fair enough. Again, this isn't a democracy, so but it also is when I decide it is, and it is this time 4-1. Sorry.
All right.
Keir
Okay.
Starmer.
this is a whimsical
Alrighty.
democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah. As in it follows my whims, yeah. Okay. Next up is the Fuck Off Award with thanks to We Don't Talk About the Weather. Who should do an award show, come back and do an award show.
Yeah,
pricks.
come back, you fucking cowards.
Yeah, come come back and finish this episode for us.
I was going to say, come back and do our award show.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the fuck off award. This is for the thing or person we would like to just fuck off.
No, this is for the
sick of it,
Is this
or
for
them.
the thing? Or okay, no, it's for everything.
Oh, it's for everything. It's an
Yeah.
all-encompassing fuck off that can be directed in any way we wish.
Exactly.
So, first up, Rob.
So for me, the fuck off of the year is specifically aimed towards Rachel Reeves, but still, it is towards the UK doesn't have any money anymore. The national credit card is maxed out. The people who basically understand child level economics, who just like, I would wish to pull head first through a wheat thresher. Just. Right, basic economic primer. A state is as long as the state is in control of its own currency presses and doesn't literally go ham like the Weimar Republic did, which let us remind ourselves they did on purpose to screw over the French on war reparations. It cannot default on its own money, and it cannot run out of money. What we saw in the COVID pandemic, for example, was like an astonishing creation of money that actually helped people, and then some other shit happened, but like states cannot run out of money. It is a literal impossibility.
Okay, but all that money they spent during COVID has ruined like Sir Alan Sugar's commercial property portfolio. So have you considered that?
That's not
Mr. Smart Guy.
I would spend like twice the money to ruin Alan Sugar's everything.
Fuck that guy.
The thing is, it's not even fucking ruined. That's not what caused any of that. It's much more complicated. Fuck him.
I am getting a shovel and shoveling piles and piles of £50 notes into a big furnace marked "Fuck you, Alan Sugar."
Amstrad was
And
shit.
people-
Painted on the other side.
And people say he's right to do so.
Yeah, I mean, let's, of course, and this now trickles through to the entirety of, again, from the Tories, I don't expect anything else because they are just the party of monsters. So, whatever. But, now Rachel Reeves wants to keep, among other things, because there's no more money, because she's a fucking idiot, she wants to keep the 2-child benefit cap from the Tories. This is Sir Keir Starmer, speaking of things we heard this year. Then there was this quote: "We are going to have the most dire economic inheritance of any incoming government. The level of debt in the UK economy is the same size of everything we produce in the economy on an annual basis." So, right, a few things going on. Not of any incoming government, because if I remember correctly, after the Napoleonic War, like the Brits had lent more, like had given out more state obligations than like several lifespans until the heat death of the universe, and then you still manage to pay it off. The other thing is that they're saying, oh, debt to GDPs are at 100%. So that's a scare story that was first and most famously used during the Euro crisis to crush the Greeks and the Italians and the Spanish and the Portuguese to death. It's the the famously faulty math where they literally made errors in their fucking spreadsheets. It's Reinhardt and Rogoff. This is very, very bad economics. And, of course, I don't fucking expect anything else from somebody who, briefly worked at the Bank of England, the home of fucking morons. And also in October, then she proceeded to call herself, in, what I assume was an accident to homage, the Iron Chancellor. Delightful. If you remember the recent hot water that Starmer got into when he said, oh, Thatcher is actually one of my heroes. Well, here she is calling herself the Iron Chancellor. And what makes her iron? Well, it's the staying of the fucking bedroom tax. It's the cutting of the $28 billion a year for the Green budget, which is now only an ambition, maybe in the second term of the Labour government. There's Wes Street is saying there's no money for the NHS. Again, you can print money because you're the fucking government, but the other thing you could consider doing is, just pure and simple redistribution. The people who made out like fucking bandits, like there's more fucking billionaires in the UK than ever before. And, not to put too fine a point on it, but, we are many, they are few, and can go get their shit. But, of course, that's not allowable because this is not a democracy. This is some insane plutocracy we live in. And it needs to fuck off. This concept that, like, the UK's run out of money needs to be removed with, like, I don't know, mind flayer tweezers from everybody's brains. Because otherwise we'll continue to make the worst decisions in the world. And I hate it, and it should fuck off.
Sound an air horn for Baldur's Gate 3 mentioned.
All right, okay. Next up for fuck off, James.
Artificial intelligence with like heavy quotes around that second word. It's really hung over this fucking year, and I can't think, and I'm actually challenged to the pod, I can't think of a single area of our lives that has not been made worse by AI this year. Can anyone?
Yeah.
Right.
No, not even this podcast, because every time it gets brought up, I want to die.
Yeah, it's bad. It's really fucking bad. So, brief recap. It is a technology which accelerates climate change disaster because of the power requirements.
Wow, they finally invented a machine that does that.
because of the power requirements and because of the fucking cooling requirements eating up water, which has to be pristine drinking water as well. It can't, we've been over this before, it can't be like runoff or cast off. It has to be free of impurities to be able to work as a coolant. So climate-wise, that's shit, and that's before you get into the whole rare earth minerals being used to actually produce the cards, and that's before you get to the point of further jacking up the cost of cards and, competing with Bitcoin space because they all run on graphics cards. Like, all of that climate catastrophe fuckery is in there, and that's even before we get into the point of when it comes to actually running the actual AI queries. When you do something with AI, that creates carbon emissions in terms of the energy usage, which is astronomical. It's by far the most energy intensive, inefficient use of computer power generation that exists on the planet by most calculations now. So
even more than Bitcoin?
Even more than Bitcoin, as it turns out. There's some weirdness to this, but essentially Bitcoin, yes, it's using up a lot, except AI is actually using up more when you total all the AI being done now. AI is using up more energy than Bitcoin. It's just that Bitcoin, it's like the individual operations, they sum to a huge amount. Whereas AI, each of its individual operations is astronomical, and the uptake of it is only increasing, I can't remember. I read a paper on the carbon footprint of AI, and it's really it's fucking hair-raising stuff. So that's the first fuckery of AI. The second fuckery is that, forgive me, it's not actually intelligence. It's just straight up not. It doesn't actually do what it says on the tin. What it actually is a machine for theft. It's a machine for the theft of a product of labor, because AI is essentially glorified data compression and retrieval, combined with next word or next pixel prediction, essentially. It just steals the data produced by everyday regular people and workers, and it's a machine for infringement. And what it essentially allows companies to do is, by aggregating data and compositing it, they can then infringe on works that others have made deniably. So that's cool and good, except it gets worse, because it's also, not only is it infringing, not only is it stealing labor, but it's also putting people out of work in pretty much every fucking facet of our lives that we can imagine. Call center people being put out of work by it. Artists in particular being put out of work by it. Writers being put out of work by it. Some junior programmers finding themselves in a little bit of a difficult scenario because of this. It's fucking awful. It's also putting suicide hotline workers out of a job. Not that it should be, because it's also recommending people kill themselves. But it's just an excuse to get rid of labor. And this is where it reaches its real problem. It's a cultural zeitgeist machine at this point, where capital looks at this and goes, oh, hey, this gives us an excuse, a qualified explanation as to why we can just downgrade services and get rid of people, and everyone will just suck it up, because it's AI now, it's the future. And so it's rhetorical kind of kludging to basically get people to go along with yet more fraud, yet more downsizing, yet more worsening of conditions. It is shit. And it threads itself deeper and deeper into our lives. We're talking about now reforming the NHS using AI, which is bullshit. It can't be used to do any of the things that need to be done to make the NHS any better. But what it's become is a buzzword for, hey, we're going to downsize, and the justification will be that AI makes it possible, indeed a necessity for us to do this. And I'm really not kidding. I can't think of a single part of my life, from everything from my sex life to my sleep at night, everything about it. I can't think of a single part of my life that isn't impacted by this AI shit. And so I'd like to just go on record here, and I'd like to turn to our listeners and say, listener, I apologise from the bottom of my heart for AI Starmer. My only excuse is I didn't know at the time. I will take my place by the wall now. Over to you guys.
The place by the wall was already assured, do not worry. Okay, next up is Wes Streeting.
Oh, fuck this little goblin cunt.
You may remember him from previous episodes, such as...
Yeah. I genuinely...
What if the NHS was an iPad?
Yeah, I struggle to think where to start, considering we'd just done an article reading that. I'd done an episode reading that fucking article. It's just fucking awful. He did a tweet the other day where he says, I'm fully committed to the NHS as a public service free at the point of use. Sharing this for the... But he wants to privatise the NHS in the alternating upper lowercase shit brigade, who think that reform equals privatisation and can't comprehend that we might learn from other countries. And then he posts a video to an interview with Sky News where he constantly repeats that whole, I like the idea of the NHS being free at the point of use, but like as if that means fucking anything. Unless you're going to talk about where the fucking procurement is and who's providing the services and where that money goes to when those, services are provided. Because the services do cost some kind of money in an economy, and are, is it the state? Does the state just pay for it and it just turns into the whole infinite money thing and it's all actually pretty much free? Or are we putting as much private shit as possible in there as a fucking shit middleman? Of course we are, because the patients need their iPads, because otherwise they can't be happy customers, and that's what we need. Prick. He's also said that junior doctors can fuck off for the pay that they're demanding. Junior doctors are expecting 35% in terms of a pay rise to make up for
years of... It's going to be so fucking funny seeing how this cunt reacts when, if they get elected, like they then face another strike by NHS workers.
Oh, 100%, yeah. They absolutely will. I don't doubt it for a second. But they want 35% as reparations for shit pay rises over the last, decade and a half. And they're right to want it. And he said no. If there will be those kind of rises, it'll be a journey. It won't happen immediately. Fuck you. You're in government, you can just do that. But you won't, because Rachel Reeves is someone that you fucking pal about with.
And he's in hock to all the private healthcare interests.
So many of them. So fucking many of them. He was quoted as saying the annual NHS winter crisis is an excuse for more cash this month.
I fucking
you
genuinely
smooth-brained prick.
Social murder. It's just he's committing a social murder with that kind of shit, frankly.
He said back in October that the NHS will go bankrupt without reform. No elaboration on that whatsoever.
Excuse me, Mr. Streeting. Would you mean the NHS will go bankrupt?
Well, they
because
can,
it runs out of money that the government gives it to do things.
Because technically they can, because since the Tony Blair reform, when they all got transformed to care trust, they also gained the ability to go bankrupt. So technically, NHS care trusts can go bankrupt because their business.
Now, if he was in government, he could just reform that, though. Yeah.
No.
I like how a socialised healthcare system is something that the concept of it going bankrupt is so natural for it. It had to be specifically implemented.
Yeah. In July, he apologised to Rosie Duffield for the way that she's been treated in the party for her transphobia. Yep. He also, in July, wrote a Guardian article titled, "False hope is worse than no hope. Labour won't make promises it can't keep." Piss still being
It's better
boiled.
for you to be a hopeless little piece of shit than to cling to something that may, possibly, potentially be good, you fucking peasant shitheads.
Yeah, why aren't you happy staring
can
at the
in
void?
fact get worse. Can in fact get worse. Like, yeah, loving it.
Yeah. In June, he told The Guardian that he would quite like to become Prime Minister and does have aspirations to lead the Labour Party. So, fulfill the prophecy. He did a fucking book.
Do it.
I'm sorry, David, but I'm glad he felt the need to specify the Labour Party for him becoming Prime Minister.
Yeah. He did a fucking book this year, which, like, any MP that does a fucking book needs to fuck off, because I end up hearing about the bastard thing in this fucking podcast.
Put
I
the
like when you
fucking
said
thing.
did a book, like did a shit.
Yeah.
Put the fucking thing out as an ebook already for reasons that I won't go into, but I need it as an ebook.
Wes, go fuck yourself, don't you dare. He also defended the Sunak loves the pedos ads. Do you remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was very vociferous in his defence of those. So, cool, normal. He's a horrible little lickspittle cunt. He is absolutely the most dangerous fucking politician in Britain as far as I'm concerned. And I cannot wait for the day that he finally stops being a fucking MP.
Yeah. Anyway, last contender in the things that should just fucking fuck off. Again, we just went to the well of old episodes because we had nothing better to do. But it is the Polite Disagreement podcast, specifically the
This one wins.
It is the the rest is politics, the political currency teehee with Ed Balls and Osborne. It is the lukewarm bath of piss designed for middle class twats to listen to, or on the way to the golf course, and then pretend to have political opinions, but not spicy ones, not actual ones, not really held ones, just the whiff waff of politics, to quote fucking Boris Johnson or something in those lines. It's just politics is a little game where you can always, yes, you can disagree, but it's dinner party style, so you can't really disagree. If the person on the other side of you says, I think it's really good actually to feed a bunch of poor people and migrants into a literal meat grinder, and then use that to make a nice green golf course again, then why not just fucking do it? It's all encapsulated in this appalling habit that liberalism has to just always assimilate everything and just say, oh well, I disagree with you, but I fully defend your right to say it. No, you should beat people in the mouth until they stop saying certain things. We'll get on to which people in the next category, but it is important to draw lines, to say stop, to say fuck you to the people who implemented austerity or voted for it, A. Rory Stewart, or the people who killed more than 1 million people in Iraq, A. Alistair Campbell. It's important to not let these ghouls and monsters with the blood of hundreds of thousands knock back on the fucking air and create a podcast that, for reasons passing human understandings, has more than 1 million downloads a week. Quite frankly, it's disgusting, and I hate it, and I wish these people should stop, and I wish that it would fuck off, because the only thing that's going to save us at this point is heightening the contradictions until the point of class conflict. So, fuck off.
Yes, the accelerationism is spreading.
I'm sorry, Rob, David, I politely disagree with all of that. I think you will
Fuck up,
find that... See, that's all it takes.
That's
isn't
how
it?
it's done.
Yeah.
Okie doke. Right. So, the National Credit Card Discourse, AI, Wes Streeton, or Polite Disagreement podcasts.
Polite disagreement.
Wes-
Not even
It-
doing
it
the
should
podcast
be-
part, just the concept of polite disagreement. Just fucking, like, do you know what I mean? Just go in on people with your studs up.
It
Polite
should be
disagreement
Wes
is
Streeton.
fucking cowardice.
It should be Wes Streeton. But
Yeah, fuck you, Wesley.
But it has to be fucking the Polite Disagreement podcast. See if I hadn't had to sit through that fucking episode, Rob. I would just disregard that. I would be able to happily ignore it, but I can't now because I've heard it and it lives in there, and I need to fucking live with that. So, Polite Disagreement podcast can fuck off.
It was like doing a fucking line of spiders or something. Do you know what I mean? Just like get that shit directly into your brain as fast as possible.
I really hope they put that on their next poster. The rest is politics live. It's like doing a line of spiders.
Oh dear. Okay, well I think that's
You got to get him past the blood-brain barrier. That's the hard part.
Yeah.
All right, that'll do us for that one then. That's pretty clear. That's Polite Disagreement podcast that win the fuck off award. So please do fuck off. And thankfully, that means we're one step closer to fucking off from this recording because it's now time for the last award.
Yeah.
The traditional, absolute worst cunt award for being the worst cunt.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up, Rob, maybe this year will be his year.
Right, for my entry, I didn't. Maybe, as you say, David, it's finally his turn to succeed. It's once again Sebastian Payne back on the.
Of course, it fucking is, Rob. Of course, it is.
Just one of the worst little piss weasels running around Westminster. Just
briefcase wanker extraordinaire.
Oh,
yeah,
like the super.
You really are determined to make him your fucking Wario.
Yeah, just. An unbelievable cretin. Finally fucking got out of the Financial Times to run, Onward, the socially progressive conservative think tank. And if you think that's an oxymoron, well, you would be correct, because the man is never without shitty fucking regressive bullshit opinions dressed in, the finery of progressivism that you're allowed to talk to on your lovely Polite Disagreement podcast. Just some hits from Onward, the progressive conservative think tank this year. Unlocking UK pensions.
You're saying that with the cadence of Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia that anyone can edit.
Some hitters from his spider hole. Unlocking UK pensions for science and technology growth. That means putting your pension into more app bullshit. Great British National Service. We talked about it on the podcast. It's fucking dreadful. Wired for success. Reforming Whitehall to support science and technology. We talked about
what
AI.
Does that mean?
It means what if more AI, but in every facet of a government that controls every aspect of your fucking life.
Okay. What if
also,
the culture but shit?
Yeah, he did. They also did a report about the Conservative Party's chances with young people. The main conclusion being millennials don't like the Tories, but they do really like Rishi Sunak.
That's fuck off.
Millennials don't like Tories, but they do like Dem Libs.
They like Rishi Sunak because they don't like someone who looks down on them.
Millennials are actually soft left on cultural issues, but do love tougher sentences and keeping drugs illegal.
No, they don't.
Source, I made it the fuck up.
And, to my personal favourite, millennials are shy capitalists, because it's not cool to say it anymore, but they really love the profit motive.
Oh, fuck off. Like, can we just briefly go back to the keeping drugs illegal? Now, see if they'd said Gen Z, I would, or whatever the fuck the group after that is.
Generation
like,
Hamas,
I would maybe
they've been rebranded, yes.
Of course, yeah. Well, I mean, if you said Generation Hamas, I would maybe go, do you know what? that kind of tracks with some stuff that I've seen in that they drink less, they don't like socialise in the same way as millennials, etc., etc. And do you know what? That's fair enough. I would understand it. Millennials fucking love drugs. There's not a bit of millennials that don't love drugs.
Yeah. And what final
millennials are to a man that bit in Peep Show where Jez throws a frisbee with drugs underneath it and Superhands chases it out, just mumbling to himself, drugs, drugs, drugs. That is the millennial.
Yeah. Yeah,
And in a final bit,
and why must we love the drugs? Because look around us, like no
Because
fucking
of the
wonder.
horrors.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and in the final report, I wanted to cite was some advice from the progressive conservative think tank to the Labour Party. The advice being Labour should lean right on cultural issues, to everybody's fucking shocking surprise. And may I say,
more on this story as we get it. Holy shit! Didn't realise this was the case.
Yeah. When are they supposed to start doing this?
all the fucking time.
1997.
Oh.
Yeah. And also, free piece of advice to people in the Labour Party. You should always take advice from the people who fucking hate you, because that's a good idea. And
you should actually, it's me, and I've got one piece of advice and it involves the sea.
And then, of course, he's written an interminable cycle of just piece of piss opinions and garbage and bullshit and just drivel throughout. The latest one is briefly about how free speech protectors allow anti-Semitism to thrive. So it's just that shit. You can say anything you want because this is a free country, except no, not that, because that's the stuff I don't like. Hi, I'm Seb Payne, and quite frankly, that's my nominee.
I'm back because, you brought up Seb Payne and I had to go for the angriest shit of my life.
I'll be in the angry dome. Shitting.
Yeah, we've got Portaloo up there now.
But yeah, fuck that little
Alrighty.
weasel-faced cunt.
Yeah. Right, next up, James.
It's Elon Musk. It's Elon Musk for
fuck's sake.
reasons. Yeah,
Anyone
it's
needs me, I'll be in the shithouse.
For reasons already stated, it's Elon fucking Musk. Everything I said in part 1 about Elon Musk and about his contributions to public discourse stand. All of his stupid shit, including building the fucking Cybertruck, fucking stands. All of the space shit stands. All of just everything about the cunt. How much do I need to recap here, for the love of God? Because we have been in on this
mentioned his
motherfucker.
divorce and his how much his kids hate him yet. So
Well, there's that
I
too.
definitely did bring up divorce the first time round. Yeah.
oh well.
We can do it again as a treat.
Yeah. I mean, the man's like an avatar for Fathers for Justice.
Yeah, I mean,
just-
if Fathers for Justice got really weirdly into white birth rates and great replacement theory, because that's like the latest jazz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they weren't before. That's me just speculating, but
Are Fathers for Justice still around? Because they've probably got some opinions on ULEZ we'd like to hear.
But yeah, it's Elon Musk. We go in on him. There's not a single fucking week this year where we haven't mentioned the cunt, where he hasn't taken time away from us. And every issue we have went over tonight and how it sucks, Elon Musk has fucking weighed in on it and just been a complete dipshit over it. I mean, just going down it, the small boats discourse, Elon Musk has shit on immigration. ULEZ, he's fucking weighed in on ULEZ. The fucking cenotaph, he made a tweet during that time and got involved in that shit as well. Every fucking thing tonight, Elon Musk has in one way or another been tangentially involved in, including shit like AI. He's just a fucking worst cunt, and I can't stand him. Can he please go? Can we please just concede, yes, this is the worst cunt of the year, we're done with him, and I just never mention him again, because fucking hell.
Unfortunately
Works for
not,
me.
no, because the content mill requires that we talk about the stupid cunt. Besides, he's the only person who's truly pushing the envelope of being a really dumb guy. And, we need to witness that for science.
yeah. I mean, the only thing I want to
We're
sort of
reaching
keep him around.
for unknown levels of being a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason I want to keep him around is just to watch his shit burn to the ground, because I think in our lifetime we will see him hit the fucking skids so fucking hard between the
I don't know.
the interest payments on Twitter alone, and that's just a fucking bin fire, and the fucking Cybertruck, and the rest of the automotive world catching up rapidly and overtaking Tesla.
Do you know what I really want? I don't want any of those things to happen to him because they're really banal and boring. And Billionaire loses some of his money is like, it's funny when it happens a couple of times, but it just gets kind of old when he
However,
keeps fucking recouping
Billionaire
losses.
Disincorporated, very funny.
What I really want
Billionaire
to see
Dismembered
is
is funny.
either I want to see the result of his mission to Mars that he personally goes on, because that will be very funny, or I want to see the result of him implanting Neuralink into himself.
Like I said, Billionaire Disincorporated, very funny.
I don't know, if he pisses off the Saudis enough over Twitter, you know, he might get suitcased, and that could be pretty funny. So
That could be funny, but I feel like it's much more funny if it's a much more first person at his own hand thing, you know, the direct consequences of his
Like,
actions as
Vigorous
opposed
is
to the
the-
long term ones.
I suppose.
I don't know why I've got this vision of Elon Musk putting on a VR headset to watch himself just be disincorporated.
Like,
Damn, it's
I
only
want to know
available
that
in the
he's having
3D
to.
in the third person view.
I want to know that he's been banished to a forgotten Soyuz capsule on the surface of Mars.
You want him to
That's-
undergo the Captain Zod kind of treatment, right? Or General Zod, or whatever the fuck
Captain
it is. What's the guy from Superman back in the day?
We don't respect the
Lance
officer
Corporal
class on this
Zod, I
podcast. Definitely not. He doesn't work for a living. Right, okay. Next one up. Rob, it's you again.
Yeah, because my next nominee is specifically Matthew Goodwin, but you could replace any of the barely
Is he
hidden book-eating
is
guy.
he the book-eating cunt?
Yeah, he's
Yep.
the book-eating. And, you know, you really would have thought that was the fucking end of the guy, because, you know, he ate a book on television. I don't know.
You would think it would be the end of your commentator career, wouldn't you? Guy who ate a fucking book because he was so
Yeah.
wrong.
But he's not. He's still fucking here because, you know, he's just turned into fucking outright, you know, red-brown, talk about the white working class, barely hidden fascism bullshit. Just a brief sample of his work to get us on the way. This was from, I think, 2 days ago or something. It's spurious and bullshit, but that hardly needs stating. Did you know that more than 50% of social housing is occupied by people who aren't British? It is not acceptable
Not true. Don't believe him.
For any modern society to be relegating its own citizens in this way from having access to basic services. Basically, he
All right,
is...
big fan of those basic services, is he?
Yeah, no.
Or does he spend the rest of his time like crying about like fucking, do you know what I mean, chavs on the estate and how we should just bulldoze all the houses and make them live in the woods?
Maybe he used to, but you know, right now he's on that. You know, he is fascist. He is
Right
either
now he's on that making up statistics to like be racist fucking train.
Yeah.
Is he? Could he not even pretend that a taxi driver told him that? What's wrong with him?
No. He just makes up fucking bullshit. He writes a wanky book about it and then just, you know, spends his time caterwauling on Twitter that either eats the book or like first debate me. You know, the wailing cry of
called
the
the
sad
circle
little
of
fash
life.
everywhere. Just, I mean, again, not new. This is 2023, but 5 years ago he already co-wrote a paper. Quote: "Does ethnic diversity increase or reduce white threat perceptions?" Which concluded that rising diversity, all else being equal, increases anti-immigration sentiments and support for the populist radical right wing among native-born whites in the West. I.e., if you don't want Marine Le Pen, you should do everything she says.
Yeah, you should give her what she wants.
Yeah, because otherwise, you know, you might get some fascists. Otherwise, you might get fucking
picturing,
Matthew
like,
Goodwin.
I'm picturing
good to
his
know
like
that-
fucking his publisher sending a team of people in hazmat suits to pick through his shit for fragments of paper so they can like put together his next book.
Yeah, it's the best way to deal with fascists, as we again can learn from history, is to just keep them appeased.
Yeah, it's to give them everything they want, because what if otherwise they might do some fascism? That'd be fucking terrible.
It wouldn't be called appease if it couldn't be done with ease.
Hey,
Hark at Neville fucking Chamberlain over there.
My cat was upset by that one. She fucking looked up, turned around, and meowed complainingly.
Good.
So well done,
I
David.
hope over the course of this two-parter I have absolutely destroyed any illusions that people have that this is a comedy podcast.
This isn't a comedy podcast. This is an anger podcast. If you need us, we'll be recording in the Angry Dome.
Shitting in the Angry Dome, as the case may be.
Sitting on the floor in the Angry Dome, yeah.
I told him to lay down on the floor of the Angry Dome, and he did it, the legend.
Soiling the carpet before we give it back to Rumbelows.
Stop it, these are my fucking trigger words.
Right, so... right. Currently, by the way, apart from his job, I think he's a professor at the University of Kent or something. So I might be wrong about that one. But he's also got a sideline working for a think tank run by the Legatum Institute, which is one of those dark money, Tufton Street outfits. Just does the most horrendous things.
What does that mean then?
What, the Legatum Institute? The
Legatum,
part of the Obsidian Order.
Yeah, basically they're like a defense of the nation, defense of white. They're a 14-word organization. They just dress it up.
Yeah, but is that not a Latin word? Does that not mean... Because it sounds like a Latin word.
It is a Latin word. I've forgotten what it means. It means...
It sounds like something...
Heritage or something, I think.
It sounds like something from a fucking anime, frankly. Like an anime has made up like a sinister organization. And so they went Googling around and went, oh, this is a word we could use. Like, it's got that kind of feel of unreality to it, frankly.
Legatum is a Latin word that means a special gift left by a person who has died.
It also denotes heritage. So it's the Heritage Foundation, but, loosely translated to the United Kingdom.
The Heritage Foundation, but it went to Oxbridge instead of like Harvard
That's
and Yale.
exactly it, yeah. Which
okay.
received a whole bunch of money from like insane climate deniers and also US neocons, one of whom, delightful guy, I think now dead, so good, Robert Agostelli or whatever you pronounce that, who once described the broader left as
Agostinelli.
As a cancer that needs to be eradicated. That's from the Byline Times, so delightful.
And which one of us is dead right now?
That guy.
Me. It's me.
It's me. I'm the dead guy. It's me.
I appreciate that you got upside down to do that accent there, Jamie.
Another.
I'm a
bit
method actor.
From Matthew Goodwin's more recent output, increasingly our schools, university, and media are infected with this destructive and divisive new orthodoxy, i.e. wokery, from the United States, where the story of race is entirely different. Instead, they turn to an alliance of ethnic minorities, immigrants, and bohemian middle-class students, calling on them to deconstruct the established power structures, languages, and institutions, and the established way of life of Western societies. If that sounds familiar, that's essentially the Canadian crying prick, Jordan Peterson. That's his bullshit. That's the same
This
thing.
motherfucker is going to wake up one morning and then we'll see who's being infected with what.
Ever since you mentioned Bohemian, I just got, is this real life? Is this just wokery? Like running through my head, and I can't. This podcast has done brain damage to me.
Right,
Whenever
David, deploy the Safe Style UK drop to cleanse James's mind.
You buy one, you get one free. I said you buy one, you get one free.
Oh, thank you. That's like a knock-on shot straight to my fucking chest.
You've just given all our ADHD listeners a new vocal stim now. So well done.
And podcasters, let's be real.
Yeah. Whenever one of these fucking dickheads talks about bohemian students, it just means they're annoyed that some kids spent their time at university doing LSD and shit, and it's fuck off. This is a very normal thing for students to be doing. And then also, wrapping it up in this weird, white supremacy fucking skin.
This teenager has dabbled in, fucking Lucifer's crest.
Yeah, it's clearly fucking too old man to say, get a haircut, you hippie, and that's why they need to use the word bohemian.
we can all admit that the scourge of the white guy with dreadlocks is rife in this country, but it does not require us to adopt white supremacist outlooks, as far as I'm concerned.
No, but actually what you don't understand, Matthew Goodwin, because he said in a recent interview that, he didn't leave the left left him. Quote, an obsession.
Ideally, we would have left him out in the woods to fend for himself when he was a baby, and yet here we are.
Pulled him at the fucking motorway services, let him go inside for a piss, and then tore off like fucking at speed.
Doing donuts in the car park as he stands and watches with his fucking
putting posters up
McFlurry.
around town with his face on, saying like missing. We don't want to come back.
An obsession with class.
If found,
Have you seen this child? If so, keep him.
An obsession with class has been replaced by an obsession with the trinity of sexuality, gender, and racial equality. Everything is woke now. Nobody cares about the working class. The working class only cares about
Wow, I wonder if any of
television.
these things I'm complaining about having replaced class analysis are in any way related. Nope.
No, they're not.
He's only doing this shit because if you have these kind of thoughts, you have two choices. You've got write shit books and eat them and maybe make some money in the process, or argue with teenagers on a train like Paul Embry. So he's clearly taken the slightly more lucrative route. So props to him on that, I guess.
But I mean, like Paul Embry could also be Jordan Peterson. They're all like just fascists and open jackets.
Yeah, they're all the same flavour
guy.
of fucking dickhead.
Everything is woke now. Everything that isn't outright fascism, that isn't outright, the in-group of white people must be protected and have more babies. Everything that isn't that is against the white working class, who we also don't really want to save. There's only two people left in society.
Know what?
There's the good people, really good people who need to be protected. Who are the good people? Well, the good people are straight white men and the white working class. The bad people are women who talk, people who aren't white, immigrants, people who are LGBT+. They are bad, and the bad people are infecting the good people and are simultaneously very strong but very weak. There's like a thing developing here that we've seen so many fucking times before. It's just the inchoate bullshit principles of fascism that get some money because it's really useful for very rich people to have cunts like this on the payroll just shitting into the discourse 24/7. Just an endless barrage.
Having heard all of this, I have decided that I will be joining the war on woke, on the side of woke.
Yeah, I do want to tell you one more small anecdote, because that is just to show that he's just like personally such a fucking little twerp loser who everybody hates. This was just really just to put a smile back on my face, baby. This was a tweet he did. He did a debate about whether or not the new elite is ruining Britain between him and David Aronovich, which fucking meeting of the masterminds there.
Just the Titans have arrived. Christ Almighty!
Yeah, it was hosted, by the way, by Alan Rushbridger, former editor of The Guardian, because fucking of course, But afterwards, Goodwin put out the following tweet, just to leave you with a small sort of amusement before we leave this fucking cunt in the dust.
An amuse-bouche, if you will.
One of the more amusing aspects of last night's debate with David Aronovich and Alan Rushbridger is that they all went for dinner afterwards and didn't even bother to invite me, despite me giving up my time for free to help make Prospect magazine money. Classic new elite.
Yeah. When nobody went to fucking Toby Young's birthday party. Classic young elite. Fuck, I've been podcasting too long. I keep saying the wrong words and sentences, more than usual. Classic new elite. So
imagine being too much of a whiny prick that even like David Aronovich is like, fuck me, I cannot be bothered with you.
Look, you may be right wing and pretending that you are at one point left wing, but you are in fact insufferable.
Maybe he didn't compliment Aronovich's jacket.
Anyway, that's they're all the same guy, but fuck Matthew Goodwin in particular.
Okay, so the next one up is Rachel Reeves.
Right, motion carried. Let's move on.
Yeah, no, because I haven't said like the funny words like securonomics. We didn't say securonomics earlier when talking about Rachel.
Oh no, we did not.
Wow, everyone has been saying securonomics except people on this podcast, I guess.
Yeah. Many people are saying this.
Such as securonomics. What the fuck are you talking about?
I'm picturing that in massive letters, like when they say, at the start of the Thunderbirds, and it's filmed in Super Mario Nation.
Japan.
Securonomics is just rebuilding the Maginot Line, but like on the coast of Dover.
Rachel Reeves is on this list because she's extremely fucking boring. Like that kind of politician that's just painfully boring. Not in like a I don't want to listen to you kind of way. Although I don't fucking want to listen to her, but because her ideas are just absolutely the fucking banality of evil. The most tedious motherfucker, like IBM engineer in the 40s, that kind of fucking level of tedium. Just the fucking worst. Some highlights from this year that we didn't cover. She launched that book this year. Again, stop fucking doing this. And was found out by the Financial Times to be full of copy-paste from Wikipedia.
That was so good.
H-Bomb,
if you're listening to this, do your next video on that, please.
The concept of fiscal discipline has been like the only thing that she can say reliably. The Iron Chancellor bit fucks me up because like I don't think maybe it's clumsily Thatcher, but is it possible?
Yeah, easily the worst Red Alert 2 super weapon if you ask me.
Like that's just a fucking weird thing to fucking compare yourself to is fucking von Bismarck, but all right, okay.
He's the one good German leader. Asterisk.
I don't know. No one that unites all of Germany can be good. Let's just look at everything that happened in the 90s.
Oh, what's that? You just united Germany? A bit sus.
Yeah.
1991, I'm looking at you.
There was a Republican senator this year who applauded our policy platform because of how Reagan-esque it was.
That's cursed as hell.
It's good, isn't it? George Osborne and Mark Carney also think that she's quite good and has the right kinds of policy. So that's great. That's so good.
Because she doesn't have any fucking policy. Her only policy is just like, well, no.
No, she does. She has securonomics.
Not a real thing.
Not the point. That's what she's got. She's got securonomics. And I will not be answering any questions on what that is.
Well, I won't be asking any either, so... Guess that works out fine for both of us.
Yeah, there's also that one about making the OBR independent, and that's going to increase fiscal responsibility regardless of what kind of government it's in. As if the last few years haven't taught us anything about how governments can just make up shit as they go along, and there's no consequences for it, ever.
Yeah, just dreadful.
Yeah, she's there because she's just the most banal fucking intellectual titan that British politics has to offer at the moment.
All right, who's next?
The next one is from me, and it's something very near and dear to my heart after I was radicalised over it last year.
Go for it.
And this is a dishonourable mention for the lad baby.
Oh, fuck me.
So, if anyone's not familiar, you are blessed, and you're blessed if you don't know who this is.
Go listen to last year's awards
fools.
to like a really, really full explanation of these idiots.
So, it's a Nottingham man and his wife who have been given the same brain parasite as Mr. Beast. But in a British way, Basically,
wow,
relentlessly pursuing YouTube celebrity at any cost after
hang
going
on,
viral.
sorry, I need a fucking moment for that one, Alistair. Jesus Christ.
Mr. Beast Esquire.
Yeah,
The
that's...
Mr. Beast tadpole.
Oh.
Yes.
I love
ones
being on
too.
this podcast because periodically, like Alistair or Rob or Jamie or David will just sit me down and like forcibly peel back my third eye and let me see like the inner spaces beyond realms and just get glimpses into the beating foul part of this universe.
Chiefly in this instance, it's images of fucking sausage rolls.
Yeah.
So
Fuck. Okay.
yeah, so relentless YouTube.
Sorry, just don't mind me. I am just going away to Photoshop the Mr. Beast grin onto a sausage roll.
So yeah, basically, the guy who I'll forget his name. No, it's not particularly interesting. Went viral in like 2017, 16, something like that. And for some reason, this meant that he had to, as if spoken to by Allah himself, would have to create a charity single every Christmas for 5 years. I don't know why this is what he decided to do. Probably because it made him very, very rich.
Me
But
too.
the
I have found a
Fucking
reason.
easy.
Yeah, and the alleged motivation for this whole shit is that it was all for charity. Which, yes, some of the money that they have, some of the shit that they've done has raised money for charities. But so I don't know if any of you are familiar with Cunt and the Gang, but he put it very, very succinctly in 2021. They made large donations to charities, including the mental health charity Mind and Cardiac Risk in the Young. We may be vulgar in the language we use to get our point across, but we would not be so vulgar as to use food banks to hawk records, increase our profit profile, or sign lucrative sponsorship deals. Let me be clear, we would not stoop to using poverty, hunger, and despair to promote our career and bolster our bank balance like we believe Lad Baby have done in this year's and last year's Christmas #1 campaigns. So, like, This is why, as far as I'm concerned, he should be the absolute worst cunt, because it is using this twee working class lad affectation via a charity as a stepping stone to like personal wealth and success, and also to bring us like the most annoying fucking music that you will ever hear to boot. They've also got like an extended universe with other projects with titles like Live, Laugh, Love, and you can get. I also found out you can get access to bonus Lad Baby content for a nominal £3.50 monthly fee. Now, granted, we charge £5 a month for generally one, maybe two extra episodes a month, but we also don't have an estimated net worth of £1.2 million between us. So,
no. But if someone wants to give us an estimated net worth of that just to prove us wrong...
Well, I can give you an estimation if you'd like, Jamie.
But yeah,
so,
I mean, I fucking hate this fucking, like, cunt with a fucking passion because, like, it's just... His only fucking, like, talent is having shame enough to monetize something that, like, left to their own devices, school kids would do on their own. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember at school and people, like, just hearing a song and going, like, oh, I'll sing that with, like, stupid lyrics or whatever. He's literally, all he's done is just replaced, like, rock and roll with sausage roll in a bunch of different song titles.
Yeah, he is like, a sausage roll pervert. Like, for some...
It's the cultural equivalent of, like, machine gun and fish in a bowl. It's just fucking... Do you know what I mean, though? Like, I mean, the thing is, I can remember, like, kids at school actually singing, like I Love Sausage Rolls. If they heard, like, that fucking Joan Jett song, do you know what I mean? That's how absolutely fucking wank and uninspired his, like, bit is. It's something kids have been doing for, like, 30 years on their own, at least. It's just so fucking wet. But obviously, like, it just appeals perfectly to that particularly twee fucking, like, Dino shtick, you know, where it's like, isn't he so wacky? It's like, no, he's not. He's a tedious prick.
Sucks shit.
Yeah, and
fuck
like
him
making
and all who sail in him, quite frankly.
I'm making like, millions possibly at this point, pounds, off the back of like, charity charity is something that is essentially a necessity in the capitalist system, but it's not something that's
but it's like
to be aspired to.
They're always banging on about like how they do it for the food banks, and it's like, but who do you vote for? You cunt. Is it the people responsible most responsible for the food banks? Is this? Oh, weird. You'll not be drawn on that in the fucking interviews.
I think the lad baby got asked that question, like, who do you vote for? And he gave a very cagey answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny that.
And
yeah, he said,
the fucking picture that David has just dropped in the fucking
He did endorse Boris Johnson, though, didn't he?
No, specifically what he said was, I'm sure the right people got voted in.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Casually, passive language.
So, he didn't endorse Boris Johnson. He retroactively endorsed Boris Johnson after the fact, which is somehow
and
worse.
That picture David's posted has just made me hungry, to be honest. Like,
yeah, I just want to add on like the lad baby thing. So this is a conversation I had with two mates like last year. It was the fucking Christmas #1 that lad baby was doing last year. And one of my mates like, when will these cunts fuck off? And I said, I just don't give a shit. Like, bigger do not care for me than the World Cup. And then, someone dropped it was a different interview with the cunts, where they're, sort of saying like, noticed that they're not the only ones that've noticed that him and his wife use food banks, hunger and mental health to hawk downloads and shit. And I just said, Jesus Christ, I've reconsidered death to the lad baby to that, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, and also, at the tail end of this podcast, this year, never forget that our podcast simply also exists to air our personal beefs.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes.
I mean, what else would it be for?
I think do you know what I mean? Can we pick an absolute worst cunt, or is the real winner here sport? Because I'm leaning at Matthew Goodwin because he's just such a fucking prick, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Every time someone of his ilk talks about what the the fucking white working class enjoy, I get a little bit gay just to spite them. So.
What do you think, David?
I don't know. I think it is a bit too fucking difficult. And I think in today's woke society, everyone can be a winner.
Oh,
so participation medals for all.
Yeah, should we just give everyone participation medals and we'll leave it at that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
High speed medal,
Yeah, that would annoy Matthew Goodwin the most, and that's why I'm for it.
Okay, well done, everyone. You took part, and that's the most important part of these these awards.
Yeah, we're too fucking hungry and tired, so we're not going to bother with you. Fuck off.
Yeah. You can go collect your prizes amidst the whirring blades we've set up for you.
All right, cool. So thank you very much for listening to this Off the World show. We hope you had a good
Christmas.
We have some more stuff coming over the next week or so. Keep an eye out for streams if they haven't already happened. They will be soon. And yeah, we'll be back to normal shortly. Have a good one. Patreon.com/PraxesCast if you want bonus episodes and Discord access. And
yeah,
it's
and
been
if you
too
didn't
long.
get what you
I've been
want for
recording for
Christmas,
5 hours. I want to go to my bed.
Yeah, and if you didn't get what you want for Christmas, because you never do, because your family's usually not very good, praxiscast.tmail.com. Get yourself some fine clothes.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Cheerio.